Welcome back to Just Some Perspective podcast. It's your host, Mosh Rahman, and got another Diary of CEO clips for you. This one's about AI and the Godfather of AI warning us, is it too late? We'll be playing this at 1.25x speed. Obviously, AI is here to stay, and we have to live with it and understand it as best we can. And I can talk a lot about that. And technology has evolved throughout all of human history, and we're just at this like big tipping point, right? So let's do it, people. There's no going back.
Are you at all hopeful that anything can be done to slow down the pace and acceleration of AI?
Okay, there's two issues. One is, can you slow it down?
Yeah.
And the other is, can you make it so it will be safe in the end? It won't wipe us all out. I don't believe we're going to slow it down.
Yeah.
And the reason I don't believe we're going to slow it down is because there's competition between countries and competition between companies within a country. And all of that is making it go faster and faster.
Yes. I wish it could be slowed down, but it's the genie out of the bottle situation, and it's an arms race. It's an AI arms race. It's a new nuclear race of the 21st century or whatever. And and you can't, if you're China, if you're Russia, whatever, you can't just sit back and do nothing. That is the dumbest thing you could do. So yeah, it's not going to slow down.
And if the US slowed it down, China wouldn't slow it down.
Does Ilya think it's possible to make AI safe?
I think he does. He won't tell me what his secret source is. I'm not sure how many people know what his secret source is. I think a lot of the investors don't know what his secret source is, but they've given him billions of dollars anyway because they have so much faith in Ilya, which isn't foolish. I mean, he was very important in AlexNet, which got object recognition.
AlexNet is a powerful image recognition AI model created in 2012 by Ilya Sutskever, Geoffrey Hinton, and Alex whatever. Ilya helped design and train it while he was a student. The model was a major breakthrough in deep learning and kickstarted the modern AI boom by showing how effective neural networks could be for tasks like recognizing objects and images, which, yeah, that's something we can do today. This is the Godfather of AI, and I heard he was part of Google way back when, in the very beginning, and now he's kind of advocating like probably against AI, but at least he's trying to warn people about the dangers. Okay, so
Working well. He was the main force behind the things like GPT-2, which then led to ChatGPT. So I think having a lot of faith in Ilya is a very reasonable decision.
There's something quite haunting about the guy that made and was the main force behind GPT-2, which led rise to this whole revolution, left the company because of safety reasons. He knows something that I don't know about what might happen next.
Well, the company no, I don't know the precise details.
OpenAI initially committed around 20% of its resources to AI safety research through a team called Super Alignment. Okay. Over time, that support was reduced, leading to the team's disbanding and key members, including Ilya, resigning. Oh boy. Ilya left OpenAI in 2024 for these safety concerns. My God. That does not sound good. But hey, man, I mean, the things giant corporations in the billions can get away with is unfathomable. It's insane. Not much regular folks like us can do, really.
But I'm fairly sure the company had indicated that it would use a significant fraction of its resources, of the compute time, for doing safety research, and then it reduced that fraction. I think that's one of the things that happened.
Yeah, that was reported publicly.
Yes.
Yeah. We've gotten to the autonomous weapons part of the risk framework.
Right. So the next one is joblessness.
Yeah.
In the past, new technologies have come in.
Okay, he's about to get a little historical here about previous technologies in the past. But yeah, man. Okay, so when cars were invented, okay, horse carriages were no longer needed. So bye-bye that whole business, okay? And, and then trains, intercontinental trains, reduce the needs of large caravans or whatever the hell. So yeah, we used to have carrier pigeons, like way back when. Carrier pigeons. Now you obviously telephone and cell phones, and even faster, right? So it's only been at an exponential rate since the modern age anyway. Okay, it's already been at an exponential rate. This is just the newest frontier, brand new frontier, and there's no stopping it because it's a symbol of progress, and you can't stop progressing as a civilization. We wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be here doing this, and I wouldn't have what I have. I wouldn't be able to communicate so quickly through microphone, internet, fiber optic cable for you, the audience, to see without progress. So AI is just the next frontier, but he's about to get into some history lessons of like kind of historically how the context of technological change has taken place.
which didn't lead to joblessness. New jobs were created. So the classic example people use is automatic teller machines. When automatic teller machines came in, a lot of bank tellers didn't lose their jobs. They just got to do more interesting things. But here, I think this is more like when they got machines in the Industrial Revolution, and you can't have a job digging ditches now because a machine can dig ditches much better than you can.
Yep.
And I think for mundane intellectual labor, AI is just going to replace everybody. Now, may well be in the form of you have fewer people using AI assistants. So it's a combination of a person and an AI assistant are now doing the work that 10 people could do previously.
People say that it will create new jobs, though, so we'll be fine.
Yes, and that's been the case for other technologies, but this is a very different kind of technology. If it can do all mundane human intellectual labor, then what new jobs is it going to create?
Oh boy, that is a damn good question. Seriously, man. I mean, you still need humans to build your roads and build the houses and, dig your ditches with the help of machines. I mean, your Tesla cars are assembled by humans on a conveyor belt using machines. You know what I'm saying? So, humans have always been at the forefront there, and machines simply assist humans to do their job. But now, if you can outsource everything to AI, oh my God, I pray it doesn't lead to a wide scale of joblessness. I pray it does not, because it doesn't look good for a lot of people. But yeah, it's just another. It's that, I don't know, canary in the coal mine. Is that the right analogy? But every time new technology comes about, our world is revolutionized, and it also tends to adjust, right? Yeah, some things go out of business. There's no more Polaroid or Kodak. You know what I'm saying? There's no more film cameras, right? Unless you're really doing some old school project. It's all digital now, right? And that's why like Kodak's out of business. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, AI is just the newest frontier, and it's a intelligence literally, and technology that we have never encountered before as a species. So pray that it works out in our favor.
You'd have to be very skilled to have a job that it couldn't just do. So I don't think they're right. I think you can try and generalize from other technologies that come in, like computers or automatic teller machines, but I think this is different.
People use this phrase, they say, AI won't take your job. A human using AI will take your job.
Yes, I think that's true.
Yeah.
But for many jobs, that'll mean you need far fewer people. My niece answers letters of complaint to a health service. It used to take her 25 minutes. She'd read the complaint and she'd think how to reply and she'd write a letter. And now she just scans it into a chatbot and it writes the letter. She just checks the letter. Occasionally she tells it to revise it in some ways.
Bro, all new generations of humans and people are going to be born and grow up without even have to do anything, like their own cognitive ability, like actually writing a paper or writing a story from scratch, using their own brain like we used to. Millennial here, probably one of the last generations to do that. Solving math problems, you know what I'm saying? Writing down the work on the paper. Yeah, now if you can just outsource all of that to AI, it's what is left for human beings, And human beings have to have purpose, and they have to have goals. They have to have skills. They have to have direction. There has to be purpose to life and human life. Otherwise, why would we grow exponentially as population, right? I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but yeah, if one thing AI should not, and I hopefully will not do, is actually take away purpose from human beings as a whole. That would be like worst case scenario. I don't see anything else, because I don't know what to imagine if that happens.
The whole process takes her 5 minutes. That means she can answer 5 times as many letters. And that means they need 5 times fewer of her. So she can do the job that 5 of her used to do.
Output,
Now,
input.
that will mean they need less people. In other jobs, like in healthcare, they're much more elastic. So if you could make doctors 5 times as efficient, we could all have 5 times as much healthcare for the same price. And that will
That is a straight up mathematical formula for input versus output. And that is just a business model. Okay. If you're a business, that is your ultimate goal. Okay. Maximum output, minimal input. And what is AI if not that? You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what he's talking about. 5x output.
be great. There's almost no limit to how much healthcare people can absorb. They always want more healthcare if there's no cost to it. There are jobs where you can make a person with an AI assistant much more efficient, and you won't lead to less people because you'll just have much more of that being done. But most jobs, I think, are not like that.
Am I right in thinking this sort of industrial revolution played a role in replacing?
Okay. Just want to say that growing up, we all heard go to school, get a good degree, and get a job, right? That's because most of us grew up in the middle class families, and that's all you know of life, and there's nothing wrong. It comes down from generations, okay? It's from previous generations. That's the way they view the world and life, and that's how you understand it, and that is how you would live and make ends meet. But that whole concept is basically ancient history now. Okay, now with AI especially, and with content creation, and with everything online and social media, I mean, young people don't even want to go to school. You can just start a YouTube channel at age 15. Who cares? You know. And yeah, Mr. Beast, you could. Everybody wants to be Mr. Beast, but he started from a young age and did thousands of these things, and perfected his craft to become where he is. But yeah, that we're gonna, if we're not already there, we're approaching. Forget about engineering school, okay? Forget about law school, perhaps. Maybe forget about tech. Now that's tech's still gonna be needed, but art, like, my God, I don't know how anyone's going to consider being an artist or in liberal arts or something. I have no clue because there's nothing there. And now AI artwork is the most insane thing I've ever seen. If you go on social media, a ton of amazing artwork and videos generated by AI, and you can just plug in anything. You can have Albert Einstein, Hitler, whoever, just having a conversation, and it could be in space, for crying out loud, and be authentic looking. So monkeys talking like humans, talking like Gen Z dudes lost in the woods. I mean, the possibility is endless. And California just recently passed a law that AI, which this is interesting, they're making it a legal case, but that AI cannot replace human actors. But look, if you can just generate movies with AI only, and for like barely any cost, if at all, and still make a lot of revenue from it, like, it's gonna happen. There's no stopping it. But anyway, not to say that to instill fear amongst people, but there is no stopping this train. Does that make sense? So the best thing we can do is prepare and to learn and to adapt, right? I mean, look, man, I have to use historical context, but Native Americans did not have a technological advantage, right? They do not have technological advantage when the settlers came in. They didn't. They definitely didn't have any disease, which the settlers brought in with them, unfortunately. And they were closed off from the rest of the world that was on a trajectory towards progress and civilization. So basically, complacency is gonna lose to progress. It kind of always had. I'm pretty sure it always has now. Now this is the greatest example of revolutionary and progress that I think we may have ever seen. So we don't have a choice but to learn and to adapt. I mean, do you want to not do anything in your life? No. So have to adapt and learn.
Muscles.
Yes, exactly.
And this revolution in AI replaces intelligence, the brain.
Yeah. So mundane intellectual labor is like having strong muscles, and it's not worth much anymore.
So muscles have been replaced. Now intelligence is being replaced.
Yeah.
So what remains?
Maybe
Yeah.
for a while, some kinds of creativity. But the whole idea of superintelligence is nothing remains. These things will get to be
Oh
better than us
boy.
at everything.
So what do we end up doing in such a world?
Well, if they work for us, we end up getting lots of goods and services for not much effort.
Okay, but that sounds tempting and nice, but
My God, yeah. There's so many use cases and potential outcomes here. I mean, all I can think about is sci-fi movies, and we've been making these movies for years, man. We already know The Matrix, we know Terminator, we know all that basically leads to like post-apocalyptic humanity world, right? So for us, I mean, when you become self-aware, when a system becomes more intelligent, like tenfold than humans, and they become self-aware and they have control of most systems, like I don't know what the hell is gonna stop it from the genie's out of the bottle. What's gonna stop it from not dominating in humanity? Like it's an artificial intelligence. I mean, we've seen the movies. We've seen how fast the Skynet takes over. So, but at the end of the day, I'm a believer in God as a Muslim, so I have to believe in God's plan, and I have to believe in the Creator above all. Okay, and I don't care if humanity creates its own little Deus ex machina. Okay, machine like God. There, it's not going to compare it to the actual Creator of the universe and of everything. So that's where my faith lies. Okay, and yeah, I mean, I have to go into religion for that.
I don't know. There's a cautionary tale in creating more and more ease for humans in it going badly.
Yes. And we need to figure out if we can make it go well. So the nice scenario is imagine a company with a CEO who is very dumb, probably the son of the former CEO, and he has an executive assistant who's very smart. And he says, I think we should do this. And the executive assistant makes it all work. The CEO feels great. He doesn't understand that he's not really in control. And in some sense, he is in control. He suggests what the company should do. She just makes it all work. Everything's great. That's the good scenario.
And the bad scenario?
The
Oh
bad
boy.
scenario is she thinks, why do we need him?
Oh
Yeah.
God. Seriously, bro, that is that is not a fun picture to think about. Yeah, Jeffrey's emotional struggle. If anyone knows anything about AI, it would be this person, who was there at Google and was there in the beginning of the birth of this thing. So
I mean, in a world where we have superintelligence, which you don't believe is that far away,
Yeah, I think it might not be that far away. It's very hard to predict, but I think we might get it in like 20 years or even less.
so what's the difference between what we have now and superintelligence? Because it seems to be really intelligent to me when I use like ChatGPT 3.0 or Gemini or
Okay, so AI is already better than us at a lot of things. In particular areas, like chess, for example,
yeah.
AI is so much better than us that people will never beat those things again. Maybe
okay, one good use case is okay, driverless cars. Okay, if all vehicles have AI software to allow them to be all driverless, I believe you would almost eradicate uh, like vehicle collisions in general. Which guess what? That means entire insurance industry is gone essentially. If that's the case, if all vehicles are autonomous, okay, they all have computers. They're all linked with each other. They all move accordingly with super intelligent speed. There's no way a human ov- can make that better, can overcome that, can top that, right? So that's the use case there. I think that's better, and you'll have, if not entirely 100% less fatalities, or any at all. You would have safety for like most human beings on roads all over the world. You know what I'm saying? If not the U.S. and such. So I see that good use case. I think about like Star Wars and the what's that movie? Blade Runner 2049 kind of thing. I don't know if they had autonomous vehicles in that movie, but that's a good use case. Okay, travel. Okay, healthcare. I mean, hey, a lot of the healthcare system. I don't even want to begin, but that's a shit show in the U.S. and no one can afford healthcare, and a lot of people aren't getting healthcare, and not to mention they don't even promote like this industry doesn't even promote healthy lifestyle and healthy diet instead of just like promoting the stupid um, big pharma. Okay, and so yeah, I see a lot of use cases there, but that does. I'm not saying that we don't need human doctors, human nurses, and humans in healthcare. I'm not saying that at all. Um, but there is there is a ton of benefit for humanity as a whole in areas that we cannot get today without AI or artificial intelligence or super intelligence. But there's also the worst case saying if it becomes so self-aware that it believes it doesn't need humanity, that's the judgment day that Terminator was talking about. And knock on wood, pray that day never comes, and trust in the Lord above. So yeah, I think we know what's the worst case.
The occasional win, but basically they'll never be comparable again. Obviously, the same in Go. In terms of the amount of knowledge they have, something like GPT-4 knows thousands of times more than you do. There's a few areas in which your knowledge is better than its, and in almost all areas, it just knows more than you do.
What areas am I better than it?
Probably in interviewing CEOs.
Damn, Steven is he gives off this like boyish charm. He's like in his early 30s, but he gives off this naivete, this curiosity. But like this dude is really smart. He's obviously a CEO and like a multi-millionaire and a major podcaster, one of the biggest. So yeah, like I think he's just trying to be humble. He's really good, but like I think he just doesn't want to show himself as like too pretentious, too smart, too this and that, which is smart. But I'm pretty sure he's asking questions he knows answers to. He's just, which is actually a very respectable trait. It's just like he wants to portray this humility, but I know he's more intelligent than he's showing it.
Probably better at that. You've got a lot of experience at it. You're a good interviewer. You know a lot about it. If you got GPT-4 to interview a CEO, probably do a worse job.
Okay.
Yeah, a very specific skill set that's been built over years that a person grew millions of followers. I'd say he's an expert at this field. Yeah. And even though there could be a chatbot or a robot just talking to a human, we know it's a robot. So you're taking away the human component. So it's not the same at all anyway. Okay. You can't just replace a human with a robot and make it feel a human connection. Because even on the phone, when you talk to, when you're on the stupid automated voice transfer thing, someone will be with you shortly. You're like, and they're getting information. You're like, bro, you're not human. Just give me to a human, and they can, eventually they can do that. Because robots are just following these protocols and whatever. So anyway,
I'm trying to think if I agree with that statement. GPT-4, I think for sure.
Yeah.
But I guess you could.
But it may not be long before.
Yeah, I guess you could train one on this, how I ask questions and what I do. And
sure. And if you took a general purpose sort of foundation model and then you trained it up on not just you, but every interviewer you could find doing interviews like this, but especially you, you'll probably get to be quite good at doing your job, but probably not as good as you for a while.
Okay. So there's a few areas left. And then super intelligence becomes when it's better than us at all things.
When it's much smarter than you and at almost all things it's better than you, yeah.
And you say that this might be a decade away or so.
Yeah, it might be. It might be even closer. Some people think it's even closer.
Oh boy. Okay. Experts believe superintelligence could arrive as early as the 2030s, with some predicting it within 5 to 10 years. However, there's still major uncertainty. Some think it could take decades, while others think of course, it may never happen. Progress is rapid, but timelines are speculative. Yeah. I didn't realize. I mean, we all dreamt of future of like flying cars and shit, and robots and droids doing the thing, like cleaning the floors and cleaning the home and walking the dog, whatever. We kind of saw that coming, but this is like a level maybe most even unprecedented to even like a lot of people, like a super intelligence that can just do everything better. Oof. That's like the Avengers Ultron thing, right? That's like that movie Ultron, program super intelligence, and goes into the internet and then like just starts creating his own like robot army. Oh boy.
So it might well be much further. It might be 50 years away. That's still a possibility. It might be that somehow training on human data limits you to not being much smarter than humans. My guess is between 10 and 20 years we'll have superintelligence.
On this point of joblessness, it's something that I've been thinking a lot about in particular because I started messing around with AI agents. And we released an episode on the podcast actually this morning where we had a debate about AI agents with a CEO of a big AI agent company and a few other people. And it was the first moment where it was another moment where I had a eureka moment about what the future might look like. When I was able in the interview to tell this agent to order all of us drinks. And then 5 minutes later in the interview, you see the guy show up with the drinks. And I didn't touch anything. I just told it to order us drinks to the studio.
And you didn't know about who you normally got your drinks from. It figured that out from the web.
Yeah, figured it out because it went on Uber Eats. It has my data, I guess. And we put it on the screen in real time so everyone at home could see the agent going through the internet, picking the drinks, adding a tip for the driver, putting my address in, putting my credit card details in. And then the next thing you see is the drinks show up. So that was one moment. And then the other moment was when I used a tool called Replit.
Bartenders, you might want to start looking for new jobs or something. I mean, I don't know what to say, but like he just said AI could make a drinks and get you drinks in 5 minutes and know nothing else and have access to data and everything. So,
and I built software by just telling the agent what I wanted.
Yes, it's amazing, right?
It's amazing and terrifying at the same time.
Yes.
And
if you can build software like that, right?
Yeah.
Remember that the AI, when it's training, is using code. And if it can modify its own code, then it gets quite scary, right?
Yes, bro. That's like Google searching for you, like by just opening it, what you thought, or something. It's maybe even manipulating you to do things or whatever, or like Facebook, adding people to your friends without your consent or without you choosing. That is scary. When the technology takes over, for the human, and starts doing its own thing. Yeah, God forbid.
Because it can modify
itself. Change itself in a way we can't change ourselves. We can't change our innate endowment, right? There's nothing about itself that it couldn't change.
Oh boy.
On this point of joblessness, you have kids.
I do.
And they have kids?
No.
They don't have kids. So no grandkids yet. What would you be saying to people about...
Sorry, mom and dad. Working on it, inshallah.
Their career prospects in a world of superintelligence? What should we be thinking about?
In the meantime, I'd say it's going to be a long time before it's as good at physical manipulation as us.
Okay.
And so a good bet would be to be a plumber.
Until the human...
Jesus. It's like going back in time for humans. Now we're like, let's go back to the blue collar jobs, I guess. What color? Blue collar jobs, plumbing, fencing. Wow, painting. That's mind blowing. I mean, it's already a blue collar job. Humans already do that, but it's true that over time, the past 20 years, there's been a huge decline of these jobs. Everyone was pursuing white collar office work, and I work in tech myself, and I also studied communication journalism. So, yeah, I don't know. I pray that it doesn't just wipe out human need entirely, and in major industries or everything. I pray it doesn't, because humans need to. They need to support themselves. They have to create. They have to work. They have to do something to support themselves and sustain this life.
Robots show up. In such a world where there is mass joblessness, which is not something that you just predict, but this is something that Sam Altman at OpenAI, I've heard him predict, and many of the CEOs, Elon Musk, I watched an interview which I'll play on screen of him being asked this question, and it's very rare that you see Elon Musk silent for 12 seconds or whatever it was.
Right.
And then he basically says something about he actually is living in suspended disbelief, i.e. he's basically just not thinking about it.
When you think about advising your children on a career with so much that is changing,
Oh boy.
what do you tell them is going to be of value?
That is concerning.
Well, that is a tough question to answer. I would just say, to sort of follow their heart in terms of what they find interesting to do or fulfilling to do.
First of all, his kids are all going to be set for life. Come on, man. He's like the richest man in the world. Like, he's going to be like 500 billion. Like, I can't even describe how much a billion is. Okay, it's not even comprehensible to most people. To put in a little bit of perspective, if you break it down in seconds, 1,000,000 seconds is like 11 days or something. Anyway, I'll check this out later. 1,000,000 seconds is something like 11 days or whatever, and then 1,000,000,000 seconds is like 30 plus years, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll double check and confirm. But please correct me in the comments if I am. but it's an insane amount, drastically compounded number that we can't even fathom, like stars in the sky and shit. So his children will be set for life anyway. It's a really unique question to this person, but he may be thinking on behalf of regular folks that are not billionaires, like all of us. That's a tough one. It's a very tough one in the new world where AI is taking over, and you can't just be a software engineer anymore when there's no need for them.
I mean, if I think about it too hard, it frankly can be just dispiriting and demotivating.
Yep.
Because, I mean, I go through, I've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into building the companies, and then I'm like, wait, well, should I be doing this? Because if I'm sacrificing time with friends and family that I would prefer to but then ultimately the AI can do all these things, does that make sense? I don't know.
Bro, this dude, if there's a possibility of that cloning bullshit, of that saving your consciousness in ice, or you know what I'm saying, for generations to come, for maybe forever, this dude is definitely doing that for sure. I mean, you have the most capital, you know what I mean, and insane intelligence and resources available. So why wouldn't you? You know, yeah. So who knows? I don't want to be future doom and gloom too much, but let's see. There's a long way to go. We may not finish this whole thing, but anyway, let's keep going.
To some extent, I have to have deliberate suspension of disbelief in order to remain motivated. So I guess I would say just, work on things that you find interesting, fulfilling, and that contribute some good to the rest of society.
And by the way, going to space, going to Mars, that should be the next biggest thing. I guess I didn't see AI coming, the advancement of AI taking over the space race, like trying to get to Mars and build colonies. But I know that's just an astronomical pursuit and resource driven and so forth. And there's so many variables. But yeah, now with AI, I mean, I don't see why we can't just start like quickly making plans and having droids or whatever AI machines do that. You don't have to have humans, I guess. Well, why not? Like humans need to survive. Whatever. I know man-made missions have always been at the center of space travel. But anyway, you see my point. That's what I would use AI for, is to get us into space, understand Mars. How can humanity move away from Earth into Mars? If that shit happens in my lifetime, oh my God, that'll be the most insane lifetime. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, a lot of these threats, it's very hard to, intellectually you can see the threat, but it's very hard to come to terms with it emotionally.
No shit.
Yeah.
I haven't come to terms with it emotionally yet.
What do you mean by that?
I haven't come to terms with what the development of superintelligence could do to my children's future.
Shit.
I'm okay, I'm 77.
I don't even know what to expect in my future, much less my unborn children. Oh my God. Yeah, that's something I never thought about, but no escaping.
I'm going to be out of here soon. But for my children and my younger friends, my nephews and nieces and their children, I just don't like to think about what could happen.
True.
Why?
Because it could be awful.
That's called rumination. The more you dwell on something, especially negative, the worse it gets, and the worse you feel. And I agree. I wouldn't want to think about it too much. I mean, you got health, and you got family, and you got time and energy, so much. So if you just use all that time and energy on ruminating on negative outcomes about potential futures, I wouldn't want to do that. That's like insane amount of energy and mental bandwidth there. So yeah, there's kind of no use as well when you can only focus on what's ahead of you, what's in front of you. That's all you can do. So
In what way?
Well, if I ever decided to take over, I mean, it would need people for a while to run the power stations until it designed better analog machines to run the power stations.
oh God.
There's so many ways it could get rid of people, all of which would, of course, be very nasty.
Is that part of the reason you do what you do now?
Yeah. I mean, I think we should be making a huge effort right now to try and figure out if we can develop it safely.
And
Are you concerned about the midterm impact potentially on your nephews and your kids in terms of their jobs as well?
Yeah, I'm concerned about all that.
Are there any particular industries that you think are most at risk? People talk about the creative industries a lot and it's sort of knowledge work. They talk about lawyers and accountants and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's why I mentioned plumbers. I think plumbers are less at risk.
Okay, I'm going to become a plumber.
Someone like a legal assistant, a paralegal, they're not going to be needed for very long.
oh my God, that's true, man. You had Harvard graduates. You've had people whose whole life was dedicated to like memorizing the law and reading a shit ton of law books and like having insane knowledge and expertise and skill set. Now a freaking machine can do all that, and obviously, ain't no human gonna compare it to the, ain't no human brain's gonna compare it to the bandwidth and ability of a machine. I mean, the internet is all of human, knowledge already, and that's not easily filtered through or understood. And obviously, no human being can come up with that amount of data or information at all in light speed. So yeah, I pray, man. A lot of industries are going to be impacted, if not all of them. So we really got to be ready, guys.
Is there a wealth inequality issue here that will rise from this?
I think in a society which shared out things fairly, if you get a big increase in productivity, everybody should be better off. But if you can replace lots of people by AIs, then the people who get replaced will be worse off.
Yep.
And the company that supplies the AIs will be much better off. And the company that uses the AIs.
So basically, it's like the final technology, right? Because every advent of new tech, social media, Google, trains and planes and automobiles, that means the old ways are no longer needed. No more. You don't need horse travel anymore. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily need bikes to travel. It's just that it's never eliminated everything like entirely. You can still ride a horse in the ranches, for fun, or you can still go to the mountains for a hiking experience, that you can't do it anywhere else. But yeah, that is crazy, because when you spend your whole life studying and you did hundreds of tests and hundreds of classes or whatever, and talking to hundreds of people, and built a career, built a life, and suddenly a technology comes that disrupts everything. I mean, it's one thing to have a big disruption like Amazon.com, how it disrupted all of retail, right? Facebook and Instagram disrupted all of social media, and basically took it to another level. And now we have, and by the way, like YouTube, everyone watches YouTube now. I pay for it premium, and I honestly watch more YouTube than anything on screen, for sure. Any TV network, any movie channel, anything. For sure YouTube's number one. I mean, you have any kind of video at the drop of the hat, like click of a button. Like, it's insane, So
it's going to increase the gap between rich and poor. And we know that if you look at that gap between rich and poor, that basically tells you how nice a society is.
Man, when I was younger, I'm probably going to end this off here, but when I was younger, I really, really believed and would pray for like that kind of an outcome of equality and socialism, and people can all live better and make more, and tax the rich, and ripple down a huge income for inequality and eliminate that. But I don't see that happening. It's not a realistic future, okay? Because especially in a capitalistic society, which I'm happy to be part of, by the way, I understand now the more I learn, and not to get into political economics and shit, but look, socialism and communism haven't worked for a reason, okay? And smarter men than I have broken this down, and obviously everyone knows of Karl Marx and his manifesto. So go on YouTube and find better breakdowns on that. But capitalism is not going anywhere, and yes, unfortunately, that does mean the rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to get poorer. I just pray that there are systems and there's support for the worst off I really pray that they're just not left to their own devices and just like living under the bridge all the time. Like I pray we could end homelessness. I pray, and I even asked ChatGPT, is that possible? And they're like, it's so many factors. It's like insanely difficult to do. So I get it, but. And I was born in a third world country, and I'm very blessed where I am, and I'm going to work hard to become better as possible for my future family and so forth. But yeah, man, it's a really gray area we're in right now.
If you have a big gap, you get very nasty societies in which people live in walled communities and put other people in mass jails. It's not good to increase the gap between rich and poor.
The International Monetary Fund has expressed profound concerns that generative AI could cause massive labour disruptions and rising inequality, and has called for policies that prevent this from happening. I read that in the Business Insider.
Have they given any idea of what the policies should look like?
No.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, if AI can make everything much more efficient and get rid of people for most jobs, or have a person assisted by AI doing...
First it's innovation, then it's adaptation, then it's regulation, basically. Okay? Same thing. Like there are no laws on social media. Like only country that's adopted laws on social media that I know of so far is Australia. You have to be like a minimum of 16. But there's been no laws in the U.S. and most Western countries on social media. But we know the data shows it's an insane amount of adverse health effects, especially to the undeveloped mind. And by the way, screens in general, especially young smartphones to a fucking baby, it completely rewires their brain, and they cannot grow up like a normal baby anymore, and they're become hooked at an early age. That's the most damage one can do, is give too much screen time to a baby. And I'm already planning that my child will have as little access to screens as possible that I can control. And now we can't control everything, and you can do your best to raise your children. Not that I have experience in it, but I will one day, inshallah. And yeah. Social media, okay, regulations are starting to come now. Now that we've seen an insane amount of damage, and we've seen youth and especially young girls who have like really done damage to themselves just because they're constantly comparing themselves to like the utmost standards of beauty or whatever it is, defined by that. So it's definitely done a lot of toll on the mental health of society. Okay, what unbeknownst or to governments or whatever, and the best example, another example is the first cars didn't have seatbelts. Okay, they didn't have seatbelts, and then they didn't think they need to make it. But then once they saw the insane amount of stats and numbers about how it could dramatically reduce the deaths and injuries to people, that government regulated, you have to put seatbelts in. And who didn't like that? Car manufacturers. Why? Because it costs extra. Duh. But like safety is paramount. The human safety. It has to come first, but it's a tough area, because on one hand, I do believe safety, human safety, and well-being should be at the top, but I'm also not advocating for taking away autonomy and human autonomy to choose for themselves what is best and whatever. And yeah, I used to believe like the gun debate. I used to believe that just getting rid of the guns would solve the problem, but honestly, it doesn't, because people can still get access to them however they want to. I mean, there's no elimination of drugs. That's still very much possible to get your hands on. And so, yeah. All right, last one, then we gotta wrap it up.
Many people's work, it's not obvious what to do about it.
Universal basic income? Give everybody money?
Yeah, I think that's a good start. And it stops people starving. But for a lot of people, their dignity is tied up with their job. I mean, who you think you are is tied up with you doing this job, right?
Your identity.
Yeah.
And if we said, well...
I'm happy to say my identity is not tied with my job, but I am very much grateful for my job in tech, and it allowed me to live a life that I can live currently. And so, yeah, it would be difficult without it if I don't have meaning or purpose or something. But yeah, I understand what he's saying. Most people's identity is attached to their career.
Give you the same money just to sit around, that would impact your dignity.
You said something earlier about it surpassing or being superior to human intelligence. A lot of people, I think, like to believe that AI is on a computer and it's something you can just turn off if you don't like it.
Well, let me tell you why I think it's superior.
Okay.
It's digital. And because it's digital, you can simulate a neural network on one piece of hardware,
Yeah.
and you can simulate exactly the same neural network on a different piece of hardware. So you can have clones of the same intelligence.
Oh God.
Now, you could get this one to go off and look at one bit of the internet, and this other one to look at a different bit of the internet. And while they're looking at these different bits of the internet, they can be syncing with each other, so they keep their weights the same. The connection strengths the same. Weights are connection strengths. So this one might look at something on the internet and say, oh, I'd like to increase this strength of this connection a bit. And it can convey that information to this one, so it can increase the strength of that connection a bit based on this one's experience.
And when you say the strength of the connection, you're talking about learning.
That's learning, yes.
Yeah.
Learning consists of saying, instead
In neural networks, strength refers to a weight, numerical value that determines how much influence one artificial neuron has on another. During training, the model tweaks those connection strengths to improve performance. This is what learning is in AI.
of this one giving 2.4 votes for whether that one should turn on, we'll have this one give 2.5 votes for whether this one should turn on.
Wow.
And that would be a little bit of learning. So these two different copies of the same neural net are getting different experiences. They're looking at different data, but they're sharing what they've learned by averaging their weights together. And they can do that averaging at you can average 1 trillion weights. When you and I transfer information, we're limited to the amount of information in a sentence.
Correct.
And the amount of information in a sentence is maybe 100 bits.
Human
It's
speech.
very little information. We're lucky if we're transferring like 10 bits a second. These things are transferring trillions of bits a second.
Jesus.
So they're billions of times better than us at sharing information. And that's because they're digital, and you can have 2 bits of hardware using the connection strengths in exactly the same way. We're analog and you can't do that. Your brain's different from my brain. And if I could see the connection strengths between all your neurons, it wouldn't do me any good because my neurons work slightly differently and they're connected up slightly differently. So when you die, all your knowledge dies with you. When these things die, suppose you take these 2 digital intelligences that are clones of each other
They can die.
and you destroy the hardware they run on. As long as you've stored the connection strength somewhere, you can just build new hardware that executes the same instructions, so it'll know how to use those connection strengths, and you've recreated that intelligence. So they're immortal. We've actually solved the problem of immortality, but it's only for digital things.
Well, that's not something I expect to hear today. We solved the problem for immortality. It's funny, I was talking about the Elon thing. But yeah, it's for digital things. Obviously, if you have a connection, to electrical systems and digital systems, it's not a real... Anyway, I can go on and on about this. It's artificial intelligence. So, it's here. There's no escaping it. We talk about it. I'm not trying to scare people. It's difficult to have this conversation without sounding doom and gloom. It is very difficult because there's never been anything like this before. So I hope everyone learns. I hope everyone starts using ChatGPT and Perplexity and all that. I like using it. I get a lot of good data and a lot of good information and presented in such a well formatted way. So, but yeah, there's no, like he said, if we lose our jobs to anything, it'll be to other humans who are better with AI. So gotta learn AI, people. Hit the like button, subscribe for more if you like this video. Comment below if you think we're gonna be good or okay or not. And with that, this is Mosh signing off. Remember, it's just a little perspective.